We are live. Let me just
All
do the
right.
intro. Static are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
Point I was making is it's not too late to do what you say you want to do, those great things. It's never too late. The only time it's too late is when it's your funeral. That's when it's too late. It's never too late. You're never too old. You're never too weak to do anything. And the only reason why you feel like you're weak is because you believe you're weak. The only reason why you believe you can't do it is because you believe you can't do it. That's it. The only obstacle in your way is you and your own misguided ideas about yourself. I've always told you that the only adversary, the only devil, the only Satan that's lying to you is that self, that you, that says that you can't get it done. That's the liar. That duality that sometimes we present in ourselves. We present that. We represent that we cannot do things because we're either too young, too old, too weak, too strong. It's always too something. Those are the things. That's the entity that's holding you back. That's the person, that alter ego, the false you. All right. Okay. We are
All
here.
right.
We missed last week because I had to go to Miami and officiate a wedding, which turned out to be very good. You know, you asked me while we were in the preparing for the show, how did I like Miami? I love it. Like, it's one of those places I can actually live. I feel like, first time there.
Really?
I like the atmosphere. Maybe because it was the host. They were so good to me that I felt like it was home. Maybe that's what it was. But it was beautiful, and I
That's
miss it.
good.
Yeah.
That's great. I saw the big fish you caught.
Yeah, there's a story to that. There's a real story to that. Him and I, we were standing out on his back porch outside
Uh-huh.
area because he has a porch that faces that lake. That's a man-made lake, so it's man-made stocked, with fish, with bass, and I was asking him about, hey, have you caught anything in that lake? And he was like, man, I never catch anything. Then I said, and he asked me about me, do I fish? And I said, yes, I like to fish, but I hardly ever catch anything. So he grabs the rod and throws it into the lake, just messing around. Soon as he hit the lake, no sooner than that hook hit that lake, he caught a fish. Like, immediately
Nice.
after we had just had a
Nice.
conversation about, we love it, but we usually don't catch anything.
Yeah.
And so he did that. Then right after he did it, I did it right after him. And he caught a small fish. It was like a small one. It looked like the fish he caught looked like the little brother of the one I caught. And I threw it in there. Soon as I hit, something grabbed it and took it all the way down. And it
Whoa.
was that fish.
Yeah.
And that we weren't thinking about it. We just say, we love it, but we had no expectations of what was going. We were just messing around, threw it in. And with a very simple lure and a hook, no weight or anything, and that was amazing. So when it was time for the wedding, which was when we caught that fish, it was Sunday morning. I think it was Sunday morning. What's that? It was Sunday morning. And so it was time to go to do the wedding. And we went because he did the wedding at an Airbnb, a nice Airbnb, big house. And I told the story of I told him the story. His dad was like, "Oh, you sure that was my son? I need to see pictures. He never catches anything." He said, "You sure?" I don't know. So I said, "We got pictures," and I kind of likened that story to how you will get what you need to get in that moment. You don't have to be anxious over, because we weren't anxious about it. We were just throwing it out there. I said, well, what's the odds of me just throwing it out there and catching it without no real expectations of anything? And I caught a fish. So that's like, to me, that was divine. That I don't that odds of that happening without some type of spiritual connotation to that was
Mm-hmm.
astronomical. Like
Yeah.
he caught one. I am for the first throw. He like did that. And then I tried to multiple times after that, try to repeat that, didn't catch anything. So that told me I was supposed to catch it. Then that proved a point. You can catch something, you know? So, but with them two, I likened to them. They both were going through a spiritual transition in their lives, because I heard both of their stories. And they came to the conclusion, in order for them to find the person that they're looking for, they had to become the person that they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
They both said this. Now I spoke to them separately. Like he went to the store or something, and she was there, and she was just going on and telling me, and like you know, she has a strong accent. English is not her first language, and so she had to figure out words and stuff like that. But I understood what she's saying. We probably talked for about a good hour,
Mm-hmm.
and she did all of the talking. And she was saying how in her previous relationship, how she was so dependent, and then when he came along and was doing being who he was, she didn't know how to take it because she wasn't used to that. And then she had to realize she had something in her had to be fixed in order to accept his kindness.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I talked to him, he said the same thing. He was like, you know, I had a terrible relationship, but I had to become the better person. And then together, they, you know, they've been together for like 4 years. And just to see them two together, and they're in their 20s. Like she's like
Mm-hmm.
mid 20s. And
Hmm.
I was like, you know, hearing your story, me being 54, I learned something from you. Your story. You know, it really taught me a lot just listening to what this with usually when I go places, people try to pull out of me my information and want to talk to me. I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't I really got to relax my brain and just listen and soak up what my surroundings. And that's what was so great about the trip. For the first time in a long time, I was able to just disconnect from all of the teachings and let somebody teach me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and me be of service. Because not only did I have to officiate, I was helping getting the place together, you know, moving stuff around, moving furniture, hanging lights. I was doing a lot, you know, watching, they had small children, watching them, making sure they don't get hurt. You know, it was like a family thing, but it was great. You know, you know, me and Lauren they treated us like family. Like, like, hey, you know, we did this. Here's some food, eat. Every time I looked around, somebody was trying to put a plate in my hand. And that's just the culture that they
Mm-hmm.
come from. That's how they are. And I also realized that we take a lot of things for granted here.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I heard some of the stories on their journey over to this country, like his sister had to sneak across the border with her son, with all of the dangers out there. You know what kind of mentality you have to leave what you already know, but they knew that was a bad situation for them, and go to something that they believe is better, but not actually experience it, and then go through the dangers of what it takes to get across. Like his stepfather crossed over on a raft 30 years ago. Him and three other guys, 4 days on a raft to get here.
Wow. Wow.
For no, that's and just leaving, but you're leaving family that you grow up with, and then they all get over here to do what? Make money to send back to the people that couldn't make it over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so easy to come down on people, these illegal immigrants, and say all of this crazy stuff. But until you know why they're doing it, we should really not say much about that because we don't know the condition. Because I believe if we was in the same position as they was, we would be do the same thing. We would
Mm-hmm.
go through something dangerous to get something better. And now he he's living like a king. $500,000 boat. Like he said, when he lived in this country, the first one in the house was the first one to get to sleep in the bed. Everybody else had to sleep on the floor. And he said it wasn't a concrete floor, it was a dirt floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now he's thriving, doing very well for himself. And not only is he thriving and doing well for himself, the reason why he's thriving and doing well for himself is because he's a giver. He helps everyone else. He's helped the family. He's like from what I could see, he's the the rock of the family. And then when he got with her, he pulls everybody together. Like last night when I talked to him, he was helping his mother renegotiate her lease and things like that. So I really learned a lot from that experience. And that's what it was. It was an experience. So anyway, what did you have to talk about today? I talked a lot.
Well, no, that's okay. Steve said check audio setting for echo again.
Again, okay, we just
We
fixed
just
that.
checked it and everything was okay.
All right, I'm gonna do this. So I have to uncheck and everything. Right. All right, that should have fixed it.
Okay, hopefully. I mean, I'm so happy you had a good time in Miami, and those experiences that we learn from other people, that, like, I've said it so many times, the people that born here in America, they take a lot of things for granted,
Oh yes, we do.
because
Oh yes.
you born into, I'm gonna say, like, when the day they're born, they set up those funds for them to go to college, right? When they go to college, they have everything handed to them like a plate of gold. They
Mm-hmm.
never, most of them, right? Not all of them, okay? And they don't know what it's like to actually work for money to pay for your school, or to get a drive license, or a lot of things like that. And I know I had like 5 jobs just to
Mm.
pay my driver's license.
Wow.
So, I mean,
In Israel,
yeah,
it was like that.
I was, yeah, I was like, I play basketball, so I was a basketball coach for little kids. I did marketing. I any job that I could just grab just to pay my driver's license, I did it. Now, I didn't go to college. I didn't go to the school because it wasn't really. I did 1 year in an open university, and I said, "This is not for me. I need something different." But most of the people in Israel, they have to work to get into school, because not everybody can here take the money and just go, and you don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
Here, they graduate from school, they go to college, and it's like a role. And it's just like, when someone like me come and they don't know my story, and they start judging and start asking so
Right.
many questions, so be like, you don't know my story, you don't know my journey. Like, that's why I work so hard, and I'm trying to help my family or help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that you've been through that, and I will have to hear more from you about it. But it's
Yeah, it
just,
was like
it's amazing for
everyone had
me.
a story, but through all of that, they all remained family. Although,
Yes.
like, he even told me some situation where him and his father didn't talk for a while, but he wanted to give his talk about that, rectifying those things with his dad and his father's dad and all of that, and his brother and all of them. It was like I known them for years. The
Hmm.
way I was treated, and with him and his brother, like we went out on a boat. All of us went out on a boat. Monday we all went out on a boat. Him, his wife, her mother, sisters, um, mostly her family, his son, and and some other children. I think it was the mother's daughter and stuff like that. And we all were just listening to music. You know, of course, it was some music I was familiar with. Then it had the Latino music. Driving down that, I guess, the canal of South Miami,
Mm-hmm.
the river.
Mm-hmm.
Driving through there, the scenery was good. Just relaxing, you know. And all I did was just observe and pay attention, and I didn't feel like a stranger. Number one, and I didn't feel like I had to say or prove anything, you know. And I and I left my belongings around like as if it was my home.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody see, and all of that stuff. These people coming up here, they do this and they do that. I was like, that is such nonsense. When we make blanket statements about people, every culture has their issues,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then they
Definitely.
have issues just like we do.
Mm-hmm.
They have issues in their people. They have things they want to do, and they fought to get over here for a reason, to survive.
Right.
For survive, it was survival for them. Risking
Right.
their life was survival because it's just so bad over there in their country, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he was telling me in Cuba, and you know, you hear these things and you don't know if it's, you know, I've never heard this. They can't even grow their own food there.
Mm.
They
Really.
you this he was saying if you had a cow like livestock, you can get time 10. You can get put in prison for life.
Mm.
All of your stuff must come from the government. This is in Cuba. I'm like, really? You can't even grow your own food? No, you can't. Got to. They ration stuff to the people.
Yeah.
Like what? I was like, God made this ground and you can't utilize it to feed yourself.
That's
So
crazy.
you know when that's true. All the things that they talked about what's going on over there, I heard it firsthand. It's true. It's like
Mm-hmm.
yes. He said,
Mm.
"Why do you think we come? We're fighting to get over here,
Right.
you know, but we're risking coming over without the right credentials to do it."
Yeah.
And I asked, and I had to look at it. I said, "We have all of these opportunities right here, and we don't utilize it. We waste time. You know, we're people who have jobs. I'm talking about the same people over and over again. I know who claim they want to make it better of themselves and they want to get rid of the job, but they won't stop and make it happen. Where you have people who were living in another country, basically starving to death,
Mm-hmm.
and they crossed an ocean to get here without,
Right.
they didn't let, I don't have a visa or a passport stop them. Whereas us, we'll let, oh, I had to get my license. I got to do this. It's going to cost that. And all these little excuses we make
Right.
to stop our progress. These people had an ocean. This man got on a raft to get over here to meet his goal.
Wow.
4 days on a raft. And then I said, well, what'd y'all do for food? You know, we packed food to last us 4 days. We rationed it. But of course, they was already in preparation of that because they lived that life of rationing already. So they
Mm-hmm.
packed up food. And here's the most profound thing about the story. He had to leave his family behind to do that. His mother, he said, I haven't seen my mother in over 30 years.
Wow.
Talked to her when he could. Now, but when he left it, he said, we didn't have cell phones when I left.
Right.
No, this is all new. You know, I send money back. You know, and they're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it. One got to go in order to help the others. That's the sacrifice they make. And here we can't even sacrifice a TV series
Right.
to get our goals done. We can't sacrifice watching a game We can't sacrifice a picnic or a Christmas holiday to do something that's going to make us better. I
Mm-hmm.
had this conversation with my son today. I was like, you post pictures a lot of with your children, and that's great. But you keep saying that you want better and better. You need to be posting stuff that can make you some money. Posting those
Mm-hmm.
pictures of the kids and all of that, your children, and all that. And I was very frank with him. He didn't like it. I was like, posting your kids and all of that mushy stuff. Be honest with you, most people don't care. They just check like and keep moving because they feel, oh, he's my friend. Let me just say like and keep moving. But do they, when you really do, they don't stop and think 2 seconds about your children or you. And if they did care about you, they'd be offering you some assistance. Hey, I know you're doing this. Can I do something for you? They don't care. What do you mean they don't care? You're always talking about this family, this and that, just because you don't hang out with your family. I said I do hang out with my family at designated times, but that will never interfere with my forward progress because they're doing something different. I have to.
Mm-hmm.
I said you've been posting that stuff all the time. Well, I'm working in the background. No, your stuff should be in your goals should be in the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
All that other stuff should be in the background.
Mm-hmm.
You got it backwards, bro. But it's so hard to tell people that they don't like it. But because he's my son, I was a little rough, and I've had this conversation with him many times. I said, when you get, I said you're in your 30s now. You don't want to get to be in your 50s and having to try to play catch up.
Right.
Okay? You don't want to do
Right.
that. I said, fortunately, I woke up kind of late, but I'm doing it. But if I had another 10 years to go, like you got, young, if I started when at your age, who knows where I'd be, you know?
Right. Sometimes they need that wake up call. Wake
Yeah.
up.
Like,
Like
dude,
wake up. Right.
posting pictures, and that's fine. I mean, you want to do all of that, I'm not criticizing, but don't tell me you got goals and aspirations and that's all I see on your Facebook page. Because that doesn't say, I don't know that you have goals and that, but all I know is you are hanging out, entertaining yourself with the family, and that's it. That's all I see.
Mm-hmm.
Your life should represent your goals. You should be should that's what to me. And people who say, well, it's work isn't everything. Okay, try to tell that when the landlord when you can't pay the rent. Money isn't everything. Tell
Right.
them that. Because that's what it all comes down to. You know? Well, I'm
That's
sorry,
kind
but
of
go
what
ahead.
I want to talk to you today about, because a lot of people, like you said, they want to have $1 million year, but they go watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
They have some goals and they go watch a football or basketball, whatever is going on right now.
Right,
And they're not really in the doing steps. They're like they say what they want, but they don't take actionable steps towards that goal.
right,
And when it's come to visualization, I heard a lot of people lately says, I visualize myself, I see it, and it's amazing, but the next day or the next month, it's not magically gonna happen. Like, you have to take steps in order for that to work for you. Like, you can sit and visualize and dream about your dream house or your car or your whatever that you like to do, and and you think something might happen for you. Like, you have to take those steps in order for you to do it. Now, I got a wake up call this week, and I said I have to start doing, because I see the outcome, but I need to start doing. I need to start taking those steps
right,
in order for me to make it. Like, I can see it, but I need to take that steps to start doing. And I put it on my board right here, is the doing and all the list that you need to start taking towards your goals.
right.
So uh, so I, th- I think that people don't take actions, and there is something that's stopping them for taking that action. So what do you think is that stopping them to start taking that step towards that action in order for them to reach that goal?
What's preventing them is bad habits that they don't want to give up. like I said, the TV watching, just maybe
Yeah.
just procrastination, just knowing you have to do something and putting it off. That's one of them. I think that's number one.
Yeah.
And when it gets difficult, they give up. Like my son, when I talked to him, he said, I had my stuff up on Patreon. Nobody subscribed and this and that. So I went and did something else. I said, of course nobody subscribed because you just started. Nobody subscribes at first. Nobody knows you. But the more you do it, you get one person watching, then two, then three. It builds up.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to stay consistent. I said consistency is the key, not the quality of the content so much. It's the consistency because the quality will come later. But
Right.
people want these super fine, professional looking platforms that people who have been doing it for years got and think that's going to get people to watch. No, that's not getting people to watch. Well, you got celebrities with YouTube channels that people start watching immediately. But why? Because they've already built up a reputation. So people immediately start to watch their channels. You have not started off as a celebrity. So you got to
Right.
start from zero
Right.
and work your way up. And the only way you're going to work your way up is by consistently doing the content, even if it's crappy. No, or some people might have an opinion that it's no good. There's a video I mentioned it to you before a while back. There's a video called 100 crappy videos.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that means is keep making those videos no matter what the quality is, because after a while you will find the catch. It will
Right.
catch on. Eventually you will fix it. The NBA, the basketball that you watch today wasn't what it was when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
When they started playing basketball, there was no dribbling. It was passing it around. And the
Right.
basket was a actual basket that you threw the ball in and didn't come out the bottom. You
Right.
had to go and retrieve it. So what you're seeing now with the guys dunking and doing all these fancy stuff, it evolved over time with consistency. They kept playing it. And not many people was paying to watch basketball when it first came out or any other sport. It takes time
It
to
does.
build up. And that's what people they look at, they have their chance. I said, how long did you do your Patreon? 3 weeks. And he was complaining. I said, man, that's hardly nothing to even be saying to say that nobody signed up for it. What did you want? Instant success? Like it doesn't work like that. And if you're
Right.
thinking you're gonna get instant success, then you wasting your time. Do something else. Like they don't even give you a promotion that fast on these regular jobs. Sometimes you gotta work years before they give you a raise.
Right.
But they want to get out here and jump into their thing and boom, I'm gonna hit it big. I remember when Apple Computer first came out, Apple IIe. Well,
Mm.
the one I first messed with. It was one computer, and it was only one Apple computer in the school. The rest were IBM compatible. Those are the ones we learned on. And it was in the storage room of the school. That's the only Apple computer they had. And the guy was kind enough to let us come in there and play on that computer during our lunch break. That was the only one,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could barely find Apple. Now,
Right.
you got Apple phones, you got Apple everything now. And he almost lost that company. He wasn't because the IBM computer had taken over and people could build their own computers. But everybody knows the IBM compatible computers, what we call PCs now, they're not stable. You get a good 6 months to a year, they're great, and then after a while they slow down, and then
Right.
people that's done on purpose so you can keep buying their upgrades. That's deliberately done.
Yeah.
So, but everything started small, and Honda. It took him hundreds of time to get the right car, the car that would be reliable. Now you don't think twice to buy a Honda. Why? Because of the name and the reputation. But that reputation
Mm-hmm.
time to get.
Right.
So
Practice. You have to practice. It's not gonna come from like you're not gonna wake up. I'm not gonna wake up one day and I'm gonna have like 1,000 subscribers on my
no.
YouTube channel. I have to build it up. And you know what? This is what I've learned. If someone give you an opinion about like a content that you put out there, that it's in your perspective it's not a good one, instead of getting mad, ask them what can I do better for you in order to me to solve your problem, or what is that you were looking to hear. And that way it build the content much better next time.
Right.
So a lot of people don't go to comments and see, okay, this is my area, let me see what people saying and I can make that better on my channel. And I can even say, hey, I watched this video, this is a great, he's a great guy, but here's what's missing. So he give him credit, it doesn't look bad, but at the same time this is how you build. So we talked about ego last time. You need to know how to work with your ego and not getting offended of someone tell you, you know what, it wasn't that good, you can improve in those areas, and you can make it better like that. And then this is how you get better, this is how you
Right.
improve yourself. So
Right.
yeah.
And the thing is, I see this a lot in people who claim they want that success. And that's what I call it, claims. They rather listen to people with no experience and have nothing going for themselves, or even not even close to where they want to be. They'll listen to them before they listen to someone with the experience.
Why is that? Why do you think is that?
Because the person that's doing it is not gonna take any shorts. You're gonna hold them accountable.
Mm.
Because where I am now, I'm not gonna let anybody give me excuses about why they can't be successful. I'm gonna call it an excuse. Sometimes it could be polite, and sometimes it could be a little harsh. Depends
Yeah.
on how many times we done had this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, in the beginning, I'm a little soft, and then I keep, why am I still saying this? It's not changing.
Yeah.
And accountability, like, I had other people with shows here, and I realized where one of their hearts were when they said this to me. It wasn't working. I said, how can it work when you took a lot of breaks off? I said, I've had my show since 2014, 2015, and I very rarely take a day off from my show.
Mm-hmm.
You had your show starting in 2020, and you've taken more days off the show than I took in all of the years that I even had a show. So, with that kind of performance, what did you expect? It
Right.
ain't like that.
Right. It does. Yeah, it just doesn't work like that. And this past 2 weeks I was facing a lot of challenges because
Right.
I've realized that I'm growing and I'm going out of my comfort zone like I said I will. So it was up and down. Like one day you up and then you go, and you want to be like, stable. But going out of your comfort zone and facing those challenges make me stronger. And I encourage you guys to do stuff that make you uncomfortable. Like you always said, make stuff that makes you uncomfortable if you want to be successful, if you want to grow. And those challenges will come. They will come to you, but you'll know how to face them and you know how to overcome them in order for you to get to your next step, to your next goal. Because that $1 million not gonna come for you. You're not gonna go in your backyard and start to collect from a tree. Like you need to work for it. And with the visualization and affirmation, yeah, it will happen. It can
Right.
happen quick. But and I was asking myself the wrong question. What if it doesn't work? And I had to reprogram myself again. It's going to work. It's working. It's working for you right now. But that question was in the back of my head so many times in the past 2 weeks that it brought me down, and then I was up, and it brought me down, and then
That's going to keep happening.
it will,
You
right?
have to train
So I'm
yourself to
saying it's
overcome that.
natural, right? Just train yourself, because train your brain to be to you are successful. Like, just sometimes those questions come to you and you, okay, it's going to work, it's working, you are good, you are enough. Like, just go out and just do what you need to do, because people will find you, and you can help other people. So it's
Um,
interesting.
so one of what I wanted to, you had said something about um it not working.
Yeah, if it's not going to work, maybe
Yeah,
it
you
won't
had
work.
that second guess of
Yeah,
yourself, right?
yeah.
What if it not work? I just want to explain what that is, where that, why you have that thinking, and then so many other people, because I've had it too. It's because we're so used to working for other people, and that's what we believe works. So this lifestyle is a different, is in contrast to that. So we automatically default, because with that thought, I can tell you, like I read your mind. With that thought of it's not going to work, the next thought is I should go get a job. I should go find some other thing to do to make money,
Mm-hmm.
something more secure.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually what happens. That's the train that it takes you on. And then you have to correct yourself. Wait a minute. I am placing more importance on someone else's dream and building their dreams of a job than my own
Mm-hmm.
empire that I'm trying to create and build. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. See, the key to, like, it's good you recognize it, because now you can work through it. That's why I say I'm preparing you. That will come again.
Right.
But now that you know what it means and what it represents, you can defeat it,
Mm-hmm.
because it comes, it keeps coming. It's like, okay, it's like a checkpoint. You serious about this? Well, you know you can go get a job. You know you can just give up. You know, what are you doing this for? People don't care about what you got to say. You start to
Right.
minimize your abilities, and so that you can elevate the comfort in just giving up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. So, um, just and even with all of the years that I've been doing this, I still get those thoughts.
Really.
And sometimes they come in stretches, like, oh, and you get caught up in it, because you're like, oh man, people don't want to be preached to. They don't want to hear what I have to say. They don't care. You just start self-sabotaging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when that thought comes, something big is coming.
Right.
And so you're trying to you're setting yourself up to stay where you are. Be comfortable. Be comfortable. You ain't gotta push the envelope. You don't have to. It's all right. You're making enough money now. You're making more than you did before. It's okay. That whole that oppositional self that wants to block you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
and when I was talking about, like, when I had people on my shows that were taking, they were taking time off for to go to games and see this, and when I had the conversation with them about it, they would tell me, well, I want to support this and support family and this and that. And I asked the question, well, who's supporting you?
Hmm.
You're supporting everyone else but yourself.
Right.
See, we put other people first. We put what we call family obligations first, and none of that stuff's not obligations. Most of the people that go into these games and play these little games, they don't go into any type of professional sport. It's a phase for most
Mm-hmm.
people.
True.
Okay.
Right.
Now let me just make this really become reality. The only people that really go into all of these games and these little leagues and stuff like that is American people. Foreigners
Mm-hmm.
don't do that. Know what their children are doing? Working in their business.
Right.
That's the game that they performing. commerce.
Yeah.
While we're spending money to put little Johnny in front of everybody so he can perform and look good for people for a time, and most of those kids ain't good. Let's call it what it is. Very few of these children come out of it, and they talk, they say it. Small percentages come out of it and go into any type of professional athleticism. So they're placing all this money and time into this, and these when they should really be placing money and time into teaching them how to perform on a commerce level. That's the
Right.
game. That's the true game.
True. My father was a farmer, and I remember he used to take my brother
Mm-hmm.
when he was little. He's like, "You're not going. You're coming with me. I'm gonna pay you, of course, but I'm gonna teach you how to do stuff." And now my
Right.
brother is over 40. He know how to do a lot of stuff because of my dad taught him so many things.
Right.
Like and I agree. Like take your kids with you. Show them what you're doing. Show them how to do it. I
Right.
mean, if you do go to those games, I bet those players don't even know you. If they see you on this, they don't know you. You pay thousands of dollars just for like a season ticket to see a game, and they don't know you. They don't know who you are. What do you get out of it?
You're a fleeting moment.
Right.
Fleeting moment. And it's a time in your life that just be a memory. But when you look at the did it push you forward? Because a lot of I know a lot of guys who played sports in high school and all they do is talk about what they did in high school. But they're not living the life that they really want to live.
Right.
They were hoping that that sport was going to carry them somewhere. And it didn't. That's more that story is more common than the actual success stories in the
Hmm.
sporting arena, you know.
Right.
But instead of preparing them for, okay, let's not teach them how to work for people, but teach them to work for themselves. How about that? That's a if you could teach someone how to work for themselves and generate their own income without uh the obligation of answering to a boss, that's what they really need, because you can't tell me there's a lot of people on this planet that really want to do that
Right.
for the rest of their life. The only time a job is thrilling when you first get one when you're young. Oh, I got a job now because everybody said I should get one, right?
Right.
And then when you get this thing, you be like, after a while, like, this is not as great as everybody. They want me to do this for what? I had to then a reality sets in
Hmm.
that wait a minute, I'm about to do this every day just like they're doing it. This is not feeding my soul.
Right.
This is not nurturing me. I'm only doing it because it's the responsible thing to do. And everybody said, this is what I need to do to be an upstanding citizen. That's why I'm doing it. It's not,
Right.
they're not doing it because I love this. This is what I love to do. Getting up here, clock. Man, I love getting in here, clocking this clock for this guy. And and then he tell me when to get off work and when to take breaks and how much vacation I can make. I love this. You know, I love it that he controls the raise and I gotta ask him every so often. But if you have a job to do performance reviews and you get a raise, I love it that they do performance reviews. And I got some person who don't know anything about the job critiquing my job and
Right.
telling me what I'm worth. Oh yeah, you're gonna get $1 extra in your check.
Yeah.
I remember I got a 25-cent raise on one job. And they said that like they gave me something. Like, yeah, you're gonna get the highest amount. And that's how they said it. You're getting the highest amount possible. I'm like, wow. I'm thinking dollars.
Yeah.
He said, I said, well, what's the highest amount? Oh, yeah, it's 25 cents an hour extra. I couldn't believe I was hearing that. Like, it's like, you said the highest? This is I did it. I was great. And all it was worth was 25 cents an hour.
See,
It's crazy.
25 cents.
It's
That's
insanity.
like it.
Oh,
I'm trying to understand. 25 cents. It's 25 cents an hour
It was a
extra.
slap in the face. I felt like somebody just slapped me in the face and said, "Joke's on you." Yeah. Like April Fools or something, you know. I almost said,
Yeah.
"Keep it," keep the quarter, man.
Yeah.
Something else with it. I was like, "Oh my god." I just come from working at the World Trade Center. This is one of the jobs I had, uh, first jobs I had when I came to live in South Carolina. And, they didn't pay much anyway, but it was what was available at the time. And man, I tell you, when I look back on that and the stuff I put up with, all for the sake of trying to fit into societal norms, it's like, Akeem, you could have left that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what to do. I was so programmed. I didn't know. I thought it took a lot of money to start a business. So I went with the flow and jumped from job to job to job to job to job to make more money instead of stop jumping from a job and make your own money.
Right. True.
Stop doing
You-
that.
When I finished the army, in order for you to get the money that they offering, you have to select from, I don't know how it is right now, but over me over 20 years ago, I had a few options to work 7 or 8 months in a place.
Mm,
It has to be straight 7 months in order for me to get that money. I went to work in a gas station with men around me, but I worked there for 8 months. Dirty, like I'm talking about fixing oil, doing oil change for people. They told me how to fix a tire, how to change a tire and all that. And I'm grateful for what I learned, but that's how you be like, oh, I'm gonna get this much money. Okay, maybe let me go work for this job and maybe I can get more money. And this is how you're in the role of like making more money, but you're working for other people. It's just it's how they programmed you, and it's just crazy. And but I took that money and I came to America for the first time in the age of 20 by myself. So it was a good, like, I said, okay, I'm gonna do it and I'll take the money and I'm gonna come here, and that was great. But the fact that you have to work somewhere for 8 months and it's like a full shift and you can't really do anything else, that's kind of like, you want to move, you want to do something, but you want the money at the same time. So you
mhm,
you had to think like, okay, where should I go? Should I give up, or but it's a lot of money, or should I working for 8 months now and my whole life is kind of 8 months now, and then what? So
right. It's
yeah,
once you see it, you can't unsee it.
yeah,
Now that I see this side of the coin, I can't unsee it, and I refuse to go back to that side.
yeah,
And fortunate for me, I've been blessed enough not to go to the other side or have to do it.
yeah. So
So
my final words:
yeah, go ahead.
make a list of everything you can do and start right now.
Mhm,
Start like right now. Don't wait. Don't wait for any, just start right now. Go lock yourself somewhere with yourself and make that list, and then start taking steps in order for you to make it happen, because nobody's going to make it happen for you but you. And I had to learn it, but this is my message: that start right now. Just don't wait for an hour or tomorrow or Sunday. Just start right now. Leave everything and start right now.
mhm. That's the way
Yeah.
it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Got to start now.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Starting now.
Yes.
And that's what happens. I know I've done that plenty of times. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later.
Yep.
I'll do it in a minute. And then next you know, something else, just the distractions keep piling up. And next you know, a whole day is gone and you're too tired to even start.
Right.
And then you make the other excuse. I'm too tired. I'll do it in the morning.
Right.
Then that cycle starts all over again.
Yep.
And the next day, and you find yourself a whole week is gone by and you didn't do what you say you were going to do. So
So
repetition, make some crappy videos, start off Making something crappy to make something better.
Yep.
It's called failing your way to success, like Les Brown says. You will fail your way to success. I could
Mm-hmm.
put the words better than that. But people, one last thing, people are afraid to fail because they're afraid to how they look to other people.
True.
Same thing with the posting of all of the personal pictures and stuff like that. That's really
Mm-hmm.
trying to get acknowledgement from a public of people with most people you don't even talk to every day or even know.
Right.
Just looking for that gratitude. Oh, they liked it. Dude, they like my stuff. But them liking it doesn't translate to paying the rent. That's how I keep myself in check. Is what I'm about to do profitable?
Mm-hmm.
Is it profitable for my soul? Is it profitable for my bank account? And then I think about that, then I don't do it. And to being intentional about your actions. If you say you want something, you got to make it your way of life. Somebody actually put that um in there in here as a comment. Is said Meyer said, "Good afternoon, Akeem and Karin. Your life should represent your goals, like you said, and got to be creative, creating a lifestyle." Bam.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing. All these
Mm-hmm.
guys that are making billions and millions of dollars, that's their lifestyle. Their waking moments is how to make that better. And they done built such a momentum, they can't fail. There's no failing. That's not even
Mm-hmm.
an option for them. The reason people are so on the other side of the spectrum of success that they will continue to fail because they on that momentum and that's all they see and it represents to them. I got a buddy, um, I bought my house over 20 years ago. He is still in the same bad position. Now he started off well, had his own house, and he started making bad choices, and he started to lose, and he just
Mm-hmm.
stayed in that spot, and he's still that way today. And every time I
Mm-hmm.
talk to him, man, you know, you always did better than me. I said, yeah, I always did better than you because you said I did better than you.
Right.
When you start saying you do better, you'll do better about
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Stop speaking so good about me and what I'm going to do and start talking good about what you're going to do. See, in his mind, I'm lucky, not considering the hard work I did to be there to look like I'm lucky.
Right.
You see,
Yeah. Yeah. The perception of
they think it just happened to me. He knows my story. This dude know how broke I was. He's the one who helped me buy my first house. He took me. I went with him, and we found my first house. He was living in a nice home with a nice family. Then he made some bad decisions. On the
Mm-hmm.
fan that cost him dearly. He lost his house and everything. I ended up with a house, and he lost his house. And then I had some financial troubles while I was in my home, and I made a decision to do something that, and I said he should have done to do. He didn't do it. Let them take his home. I didn't. I did what I did, and I still have my home. He said, "Man, I should have listened to you." And know why he didn't listen to me? He was listening to the advice of family who said, "Don't do that. Don't file bankruptcy because that's going to be bad for your credit." And I said, when he said that to me, I said, "You know that sounds crazy, right?
Right.
Because you've been late on your mortgage already, right? So your credit's already jacked up. So the bankruptcy is only going to add to what's already bad. It'll get better over time. At least you keep your house."
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted good credit with a and lose his house at the same time. Whereas me, I didn't care about the credit, but I was keeping my property.
Mm-hmm.
See how family could give you the wrong
Yep.
advice?
I agree.
But
Yep.
because I wasn't a lawyer, I wasn't all these things, he didn't listen to me. His father was some CPA, blah, blah, blah. And and he had a beautiful home, nice home, you know.
That's what we're gonna talk about next week. Now you gave me an idea. Do you have $100 bill mindset or a penny mindset? That's what we're gonna,
That's a
yeah,
big
we're gonna
topic.
talk about it next week.
I can
I
relate to that
created
one
that
personally.
content a while ago and I haven't done anything with it. I think it's a great now weekend.
That's a
Do
good
you have
one.
$100 mindset or a 25-cent
Right.
mindset?
That's that's I had at one point in my life, I had that penny mindset
We all had, I think. Show me
until I
one
had that
person who
epiphany
didn't.
moment. I had that moment like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
But we could talk about that next week.
we will.
That's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's it for tonight. You have any last words before we shut it down?
No, thank you for another great show, and thank you for guys being here with us. And start right now. That's
Right.
that's
Start
it.
now.
Start
No
now.
excuses.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to call you
All right.
guys up individually and get on your case. Y'all don't want that. All right.
Peace,
All
everybody.
right. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Have a good night. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.